Welcome back to the Morning Mindset. If you are new to the Morning Mindset, my name is Kerry Green. I'm glad you're along for the ride. I would love to know who you are. You can reach out to me by writing me a quick email, Kerry, C-A-R-E-Y, @kerrygreenlikethecolor.com, and introduce yourself. Tell me where you live, how you heard about the Morning Mindset, and how it is encouraging you in your walk with Jesus Christ. I would love to get to know you a little bit. And in case you didn't know, my wife and I and our 16-year-old daughter are traveling the country right now, and we would love to meet you. I just received an email this morning from someone who listens to the Morning Mindset and has let us know where they live and said they'd love to meet us. Well, we would love to do that. So please reach out, introduce yourself, and let us know where you live. Who knows? Maybe we can meet up one of these days. I want to read and talk about a section of Psalm 24. Psalm 24 is written by King David, who, of course, was not always a king. At one point, he was a shepherd boy. And it's the same David from the David and Goliath account that we read in the scriptures. David was a poet. He was a writer as well as a mighty warrior. And he's an interesting character if you spend some time studying David. But David writes here in Psalm 24, verse number 3, "Who shall ascend the hill of the Lord, and who shall stand in his holy place?" Now, of course, David is referring to the temple in Jerusalem, the place where the tabernacle resided in his day. There was no temple yet because his son Solomon would be the one to build the temple. But they had erected the tabernacle, the place where they kept the Ark of the Covenant and was their place of worship, on top of a hill called Mount Zion. And David is saying, who can go up that hill to meet with the Lord? Who has a right to stand in his holy place, in his holy presence? Now think about that. Who really has a right to stand in the presence of God? I, for one, feel a little bit nervous about the prospect, just knowing that God, who knows all and sees all, would be aware of my every failing, my every sin, my every doubt, were I to stand in his presence. In fact, he's aware of those things right now. But David's asking these questions because he's about to answer them. So these are rhetorical questions. And he's wanting to make the point about what it takes to be in fellowship with God. And by fellowship, I mean close relationship with God. Not just a formality, not just head knowledge, but a close relationship like you would have with someone else. And what do the close relationships in our lives require? Well, they require honesty. They require trust. They require us to be ourselves and not to put on a face or a facade, because that's how we get to know someone else and how they get to know us. And that is the direction that David points us in verse number 4, as he answers the question. He says, he or she who has clean hands and a pure heart, who does not lift up their soul to what is false. You see, David is saying the heart that is able to come into the presence of God is a heart that is full of integrity. And as believers in Christ, we have a double blessing here. First of all, we have Jesus Christ who died on the cross to pay for our sin, who also imputes to us his righteousness and his integrity. That means when God looks on us, he sees the righteousness of Jesus in place for our lack of righteousness. And that is a beautiful thing. We can be confident coming before God because of Jesus. But the second benefit that we receive because we are followers of Christ is that he empowers us to practically day to day live a life that is one of clean hands and a pure heart, one that does not lift up our soul to what is false. That is great encouragement to me, that anything I need to be able to have close relationship with God, Jesus has already provided. So today, no matter where you've been in the past week or what you've done, know that Jesus cleanses you and prepares you to live this day in the light of the Lord with clean hands and a pure heart. Join me again tomorrow for the Morning Mindset.